Hello everyone, welcome to Changemaker Summit 2023. We have our new guest speaker, Ajeet Singh, who is COO, Chief Operation Officers of Chhanv Foundation, with another session under the theme of social justice and inclusion. He will be talking about resilience and empowerment, fostering social justice and inclusion for acid attack survivors. Let me tell you about some brief of Ajeet Singh profile. So Ajeet is a board member and chief operating officer (COO) at Chhanv Foundation. He is the in charge of daily operations of the company, welfare of acid attack and other disability survivors. Shiro's empowerment project, human resource, power, volunteer management, and policy development. Under his leadership, Chhanv Foundation has developed numerous educational programs and thought-provoking workshops where volunteers are taking part from across the globe. Now, in this session, he will be talking about resilience and empowerment, where he will be talking about fostering social justice and inclusion for acid attack survivors. Now, I would like to request the guest speaker, Mr. Ajeet Singh, to continue with the session. Hand over to you. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anand, for giving a warm welcome and introduction of mine and the work we are doing for the acid attack survivors. So, thank you so much for giving me as a speaker, as a speaker, and to represent Chhanv Foundation at the global platform. Thank you so much. So, coming to the point, I would like to show some clips and videos regarding the same, and then we can start talking about the inclusivity and social justice of the survivors. Uh, so the courage and the confidence of the survivors who have been attacked as a disfigured. So today we are talking about the resilience, empowerment, fostering social justice and inclusion of the aspect survivors. So when it comes to social justice, it is from the journey begins from the justice only, because after the attack they are victim, they are crime victim, and they initially they seek justice, and after getting justice and basic rights of the a human being, like then we start the rehabilitation program. Then we can assume themselves to be resilient and empowered. So yes, when it comes to justice, social justice, it is something which we talk about. So initially, when we started Stop Acid Attacks campaign, that time this crime was not recognized as the signified IPC crime. So initially, we filed some litigations in Supreme Court of India, and we were trying to just formulate things, and we are trying to put this crime into the category and sections of the IPC. So Justice Verma Committee, reform formed for the uh, uh, rights of the women, person rights, and reform the basic cases. So that time IPC 326 was there, and they added A and B. So 326 A and B significantly added specifically for the acid attack survivors, acid attack basically. So when the category is there in the IPC sections, we would gather data from the Indian Crime Record Bureau. So maybe we have now data like after 2012 when the IPC was there. So till date, we have how many acid attacks are there? What is the status of the crime? But what is the reality on ground? Because if we talk about if law is there, if punishments are there, so is the only thing which we are looking for prevention of the crime? Because when we talk about rigorous imprisonment, lifetime imprisonment, death penalties, are they ample enough to stop the crime? No. If I speak about that, crime categorization of the crime, implementing the uh, like punishments is not the only solution to prevent the crime, because the mentality of the perpetrator or uh, attacker is not just to uh, uh, disfigure them, just to amputate them. Also, they know they have belief to all other wings of the society. They have this belief that if they attack, the confidence will go out of the soul, and if they attack, the school administration will not going to get them under the premises, and if they attack, the employer will fire them. If they attack, the other social gatherings and other marriage wedding ceremonies will not going to have them in those spaces. So this is the belief system that could have in the mind. So if we don't, if have the clear strategy to work on the root cause of the cause, because if we don't know how to prevent, because prevention is something which uh, can be implemented when we know the roots of the cause. So as an inclusive society, as the responsible citizen and other institution bodies, we are leading other, you know, like in the session, and whosoever listening is the session, and maybe some of them are working in the institutional bodies, some of them working as a lawyer, judges, maybe some of them are working as a industry professional who can employ the survivors. So if we all together understand the motive we have behind the acid attack assault, then we can easily prevent to stop these attacks which are happening out there. Because if we take a pledge that whatever may be the reason, whatever may be the disability, we're going to take them on the school body. We're going to have them, give them admissions with special conditions, with special arrangements. If we are employer, will develop the institution, they'll develop the premises, and the whole environment will be inclusive in terms of acid attack and disfigurement. They will give the job opportunities. And if we are you know social worker and other community leaders, will going to have them on the social gatherings and other engagement programs. So that's this way, and if we approach like this, then the community of attackers, like the mentality, will get this challenge. If they know, if I attack someone with acid, they will surely going to have this disfigurement. But no, they will not going to lose their confidence, they will not going to lose their job, they will not going to lose their admissions. So then we can assume these attacks will go down. Maybe this is the only way. I guess we are working on this cause from the last 10 years. We experienced these things because in 2013 or 12 we got this crime on categorization, and NCRB is giving data from uh, till date, and we have recorded that there's no significant change in lower down the every year. Significant rise in the numbers of the attacks. So last NCRB data showed approximate 275 300 cases were registered. And obviously, so if we don't understand about the root cause, we cannot assume that this attack or these assault will be going to stop anyhow. So as we know, the crime rate in India, some of the districts like West Bengal is the highest attack rate in India, and second number is Bihar, then UP. So maybe you can think about the geography and demography and the judiciary system out there, because when we think when we uh, take data from West Bengal, you can easily assume why these attacks are there, why the high number is there, because these attacks through acid is easily you know can carried out, because acid is readily available and it is a potent weapon, you can know. So acid is readily available, and you can easily target the uh, person you want. Then this crime is it can be easily unpracticed. And also the FIR of the scenario, when you go to the police station and you want this FIR get it done onboarded, like no, this is no uh, uh, easy process. So now what I'm trying to say is, if we are thinking about the inclusivity, if we are thinking to stop these crimes, we have to work on the root cause. And whosoever we is the part of the active engagement in the cause, all of us, the whole community, we are assume as to be a society. So that's the only, I guess, the remedial solution of that. So yes, I guess Anand, if we have any question, this session may be more interactive. So I guess you may all know of the benchmark disabilities in India, like registered. We have 21 disabilities which are there as a benchmark disability, who have different categories, and these categories are specifically mentioned in the policies to look after the disability and taking the uh, changes what they want. If the locomotor disability, we have ramps. If the blind and deaf person, we have other assistive tools to perform. So this is how acid attack survivors, acid attack victims are also categorized in the benchmark disability under Right to Person with Disability Act 2016. So 20th benchmark disability was added as a acid attack, as an acid attack survivor. So it is also very devastating and very, I guess, very shameful, because all of these 21 disabilities are 21 out of 21 disabilities, this is the only disability which is man-made. We are adding disabled person each and single day, every day. So if we are responsible, one side, if we are responsible to this disability, man-made disability, we are adding disables, and in the other hand, we are trying to make them inclusive. Like we want to take them, uh, you know, like a normal person. We are encouraging them. We are, at the policy level, at the superior level, disability level. So there's no point to work on the other side. If you work on the preventive side, like if you work like the any other organization out there who are working at the ground level, spreading awareness and accepting people. So that's the only way. We cannot assume to add disabled person in one side, and make policies and other stuff on the other side. So very ironically said, like inclusivity is the solution. Of if I add it, we are talking about the resilience and empowerment which comes from the inclusivity itself. So if we make inclusive society where any other disabled acid attack survivor is getting equal opportunity, even more opportunities than normal person, then these attack will going to be stopped, or in lower number. So we have to work upon this, because this is one of the most heinous crime against humanity. Supreme Court of India said. So most heinous crime. So most heinous crime, very devastating. Like a disability which is coming from the disfigurement, that snatch your identity, that narrow down you, that uh, break you in millions of particles. Like you cannot collect yourself to be confident person. So uh, when you assume to be there, stand to work with them, you also uh, must have lots of courage, you know It is not that easy. You cannot assume yourself to be working with the heart attack survivors if you are not also mentally prepared, because there's no set format or any other strategies which you can assume uh, going to work 100%. Because when we started, we also didn't know uh, like what should we follow, like what exactly the pathway which is to be followed to consider themselves as a normal person. So the Shiro's Hangout concept was initially started, and that was a social experiment, and it worked brilliantly, miraculously. And these cafes are providing them to be confidence, and there they get their new identity. A new identity is much more acceptable because of us, because new identity they are carrying, they are very much confident, they are very uh, accepted their new face. So this is because of us, I would rather say, because every person who is visiting at the cafe, they are open heartedly accept them as a normal person, the only thing we are assuming to be. So maybe this is I guess, the whole idea behind this, the inclusivity and the remedial solution. Yeah, please.
Uh, so we have
Okay,
a question. We have
do we have
questions. If you
possible?
can, I go ahead and ask these questions from the chat box.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So first question is, please let us know that when we are talking about SDGs and working for inclusivity in institutions, what do you see as the first step as an individual?
Exactly. So when it comes to SDG goals, we have 16 sustainable development, uh, 17 sustainable development goals, and fourth goal is where we are talking about the education and empowerment is the point, and I guess 16th when we are talking about social justice. So justice, uh, I started this talk with the justice only because they are crime victim, and uh, when the SDG goals are committed towards the making better society and environment, justice should be there, because if you are facing a crime, if you're suffering from pain, that the only relief, the only relaxed situation you can assume yourself when you get justice. So 16 SDG 16 is there to ensuring social justice in the environment. Without justice, you cannot assume them to be inclusive or any other steps taking forward in the rehabilitation. So this is there, and when it comes to institutional bodies, we should aware of the fact that whatever the disability is, the institution should equitable and inclusive in terms of the infrastructure and in terms of the sensitization and the awareness. So I can share this experience which we had last month when two of the survivors working at the Shirozangot Cafe were placed in Amazon warehouse in Lucknow. So they you know have this quota for the acid attack survivors to get them on board, and the job was warehouse associate. Then they initially like invited us to sensitize the other co-workers and the managers. The session was very good, and that time I realized that Amazon or institutional bodies are very sensitive in nature, and they have the policy, but now they are coming forward to take the initiative uh, to take on board the acid attack victims, not only acid attack victims, but also the other disabilities. So institutional bodies are the responsible bodies who can bring the changes we are assuming. So next, when it comes to individual, we as an individual have this responsibility just to accommodate things, just to listen. I would have to say initially, just to listen, and the initial responsibility is just to accept the things the way they are. Because in the video you might heard about the basic stigma, like when register, when you after seeing acid attack survivors at public place, what the first thing you react like you react, and you just start staring on them, and next you have you don't have the courage to initiate the conversation. So what I request all individual out there, public places, just accept whatever disability you see around you. Just accept and have this courage to ask about normal things. Like if they are standing at the ticket counter, you can ask them how you can offer them, a help, or anything, any normal thing which you are, assuming to be out there within strangers. So don't treat them as a disabled. Don't treat them as a special person, disfigured person. That makes them more comfortable and more engaging. So maybe institution individuals come forward, and when you're talking about the SDGs, SDG 4 and 16 is directly there just to inclusive environment, just to make in inclusive environment for athletic survivors. Yeah, I guess the next question I can see in the
There is
chat
another,
box.
yeah, there is another question
What emerging
from
technologies are
Mayank Raj. So Mayank Raj is saying that, sir, I believe that it is important that we build inclusive curriculum in the primary and secondary education. So he's talking about inclusive curriculum in primary and secondary education. He's asking that what will be the long-term impact if this is being implemented as a policy.
yes, exactly. So hmm, disability by birth and disability by accident or crime is are very different in nature. Different in nature, I would rather say, because uh, disability by birth, anyone can practice with, uh, by growing age. But when you are at 18, when you are at 16, and you have been attacked with the acid, and you get this new disability, disfigurement and amputation and blindness maybe, is very difficult to accept. So why I'm adding this point, because in the primary education system, where schools have, very in the very beginning of the classes, like nursery, KG, and very initial days, if we have those kids like who have got this by birth disability, like we have obviously 21 disabilities out there. So if we get them admitted and in the school system with the normal children, they will get gradually sensitized with the facts. Like if you can easily assume you can easily recall and remember your school days, where you are studying with normal kids and other classmates. You may not have seen the disability, you are not aware of the disability anyway. And if you are very early age, and where your brain and your childhood is sensitizing yourself and making you whatever you are now, is very important. Because at the very early stage, like I can remember my school days, and when I was in ninth class or 10th class maybe, I was the disability is not in my mind even. In fact, I was not thinking a bit, or any kind of, because what is the disability, and what are the needs of the disabled person were not in the scenario. The only thing I was experiencing in my like relatives and home, like old age person, like people who are 70 plus, 80 plus, is are the not much more able person to get the basic routine of their daily life. But when it comes to special disability, when it comes to muscular dystrophy, when it comes to mental illness, when it comes to blindness, when it comes to heart attack survivors, we were not aware. So primary education not only sensitize children at very early stage and get them treated as a normal person, normal children, is the very first step we should, take forward. Because after that, each and every person in the class, because I can remember, I can recall, you also can recall majority of the names of your classmates, because you have spent more than 6 years with them. And after that, when you are in your graduation, you were also there with the 50, 60 students, in a single batch. And you always, more than 15 or 30 students were in the group, and you know that by name and heart. So what I'm trying to say here is, if we include them as a normal person, not as a disabled, and institution, schools and colleges are much more disabled friendly, and they have their environment and they know how to deal with the facts, disabilities. This will add them as a normal student in the normal community and the normal sector of the site. Then we can assume inclusivity, not practice. We are trying to practice of the inclusivity, but we are not, reaching any a landmark statement. Like we cannot, I cannot fix a statement where I can confidently say that if you want to get the admission in so and so college, and you are going to have uh, as a normal person with the proper arrangements which is to be taken care for your disability is not there. So in the primary education, it is required to get them admitted and treat them as a normal children. And in this way, the educational institute will design and redesign the academic structure, the literatures, the other things, considering the all disabilities in the segment. So maybe education system, primary or secondary, would work like that. See, initially, we are not giving them equal education, and then we are providing the reservation. What is the point of reservation? I would say. I'm not assuming like 4%. If the 4% reservation is there for asset tax survivors, and the other side we are not giving them equal opportunity for the education, we are not giving the admissions, we are not treating them as a normal or equal person, then how can we assume they are trained and knowledgeable person to be eligible enough for the reservation? What is the point of reservation? There's no point. And you can go and check, there's numerous vacancies which are reserved for the disabled person, but they are not filled. There's no such deserving applications are there. If applications, if you are uh, providing the reservation and you are reserving the seat for the asset tax survivor, and you are getting no such application for the post, how you can assume to be inclusive society where you are seeing this disabled person working? You cannot assume. For this, you should have them, you must have them in your school at very early stage, in your college with equal opportunity. Then you can assume with the proper degree and the qualification where they'll apply. And if you do this now, you will not requiring to be get the reserved seats for them. They will apply as a normal person. They will apply with a normal seat. They will join as a normal person, work as a normal person. So please start assuming as a normal person. Nobody wants the reservation. Yeah.
Thank you, Ajit sir. I'm just wondering, like, our participation is so good. Like, they're asking too many questions, and from various, like, they're brainstorming the session, and then they're asking. So there is another question. So we talked about the inclusive curriculums in primary and secondary schools. Now, Chanakya Sinha is asking, like we are in 21st century, and we are living in the world of technology. So, what emerging technologies or innovative approaches do you foresee playing a role in improving the lives of acid attack survivors in the future? And how the technology can contribute to both their empowerment and societal inclusion? Also, he also wants to know that what are the obstacles and challenges in that?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for asking this question, Chanakya, because you have raised a very important aspect. Because when we, as you already said, that we are living in 21st century, and uh, we are landing. Just give me a second. We are landing on moon in a day or two, maybe. Just give me a second. So, in this technological era, uh, what you can assume and your imagination can be printed in a digital format or any technological aspect. You just assume and think whatever. Like, if you think that your computer screen can interpret and read the alt text and extract the gist and tell you about the facts and educate you, it is there. I'm just quoting because the blind persons cannot read the lengthy text, thousand pages of books, and acid attack survivors, or also majority of them are blind or partially blind. I'm just quoting one thing because technology is something which is phenomenally you know very effective in terms of the ability to make them able what they want to do, because as you all as we all can see, and we can attend any classroom on virtual basis now these days. Just the fact, you if you want to get yourself uh, in any uh, course or any thing which you want to do. Like majority of the jobs are available now these days are available work from home on the computer only. So technology or any aspect, if you say for the uh, treatment part of it, like after attack happens, it is third degree or fourth degree burn. So initially, after getting the first aid, they have they will just undergo with 15 to 20 reconstructive surgeries. So technology is also there to provide them skin transplant, and other aspect which surgical aspect which are there. If we practice, we can get a better result. So in terms of their treatment, their surgeries, and in terms of their education system, online education, other assistive tools are there to treat them, to provide them, just to make them inclusive, just to make them comfortable and take part like other do. So technology is, I guess, one of the major step which we can take and which we can practice on a daily basis, which we can give them and aware them to come forward and you know yeah, that's it. And then the other question was, how can the challenges be mitigated? Okay,
Yeah.
so challenges are uh, initially when we started talking, challenges are not only the disfigurement you can upfrontly see. Challenges are you know in the mind, because they have considered themselves as a disabled person. They have considered themselves as a disfigured person. They assumed themselves they are not looking good. Nobody will going to have uh, them as a normal person. The confidence level, it is because of the challenges which are there in their mind. So exactly, technology is there, but through the technology, they can work upon that challenges which are there in the mind, because uh, the empowerment comes from many multiple dimensions, multiple aspects. Because if they're getting, you know, the job, the basic earning, like even a 10,000 rupee in a month, initially provide them basic comfort, basic empowerment, where they can treat themselves uh, as a normal person. Because when you earn, you can spend that money on your growth, and that way you can assume yourself as a normal person. So technology can help them to, you know, get the employment opportunity, get the working environment. So challenges can be overcome through the, technology, and maybe through the inclusive society.
Correct. Likewise, we are doing we're using technology to spread awareness so that everybody be
Yeah.
very inclusive in perspective of the what we call it resilience and empowering towards the societal
Mm.
inclusion. So other people are also asking some question regarding like what is a general public contribution toward building a more inclusive and empathetic society, because we have to put your as others on our shoes on the issues. So I just want you to just give a brief, or you can just give a brief overview of what they need to do. Like you already shared that they need to be very, they need to listen to them. They need to treat them like we treat others, and that's how we can build an inclusive environment for them. So just an overview of your session, and thereafter we will move towards the closing of the event.
Exactly. So the stigma behind acid attack survivors, uh, all of us, what we assume initially, if you just, interact with them initially, when you see them, the first thing which will come in your mind, that how to start the conversation. What should I ask? What should I, you know should I, uh, 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 how hesitant we are, like we are not that comfortable, and we don't feel that comfortable enough to be a normal conversation with them. So conversation with should be a very normal thing. And then I'm just, asking a question, because uh, you I guess majority of you, abhi filhal, who are listening the session, have not got this opportunity, I guess, to interact with the survivors. So first thing which is always there, what should I ask? So I would add this, just to bring your thought more thought provoking, because um, not only acid attack survivors, but for the other disability survivors, uh, you just go and ask their stories, whatever their story behind. Like if by birth disability is there, if the accident, or if these are attack survivors. Just ask first, be comfortable yourself, and ask them about their stories. Very normal. And when you keep practicing, initially when you are engaging with these things, with these survivors in a at normal public place, or any other place, or any other environment, you will feel comfortable enough to accept them. And when you ask this question, what will happen? They will start to share their stories, whatever they have in their mind. The healing process will start, because when you, very rightly said, when you share your story again and again, and it does not make you cry, that means you are healed. How beautifully said. Because we cannot assume these acid attack survivors, even if thousands of surgical treatment we performed on their faces, they will not get the face again. So what is the definition of the healing? So when they accept the accident, when they accept the crime, when they accept the new normal face, they will accept living normal. So I would request to all individuals, uh, if they want to to be practice to you know get them engaged with the disabled people. uh, I guess this will going to help you to get them interacted with the disability survivors. It is very important to ask the story, and if you and any other person will ask their stories and offer them to be speak about the uh, challenges they have, the accident and the disability they are carrying, then they will feel very normal. So please get them engaged with the uh, disability and other survivors to assume to be them assume to be the environment is inclusive.
So much, Mr. Ajit Singh, for having the session.
I guess the last question where Ayushi was asking na,
It
the
was general question. You have already answered that.
yeah, exactly, that was I'm talking about na, the what ways can the general public contribute to building a more empathetic and inclusive
Correct.
society. This is the normal way. Mm, you don't have to be a scripted or long written document in your notebook to follow, to do and don'ts. It does not, it just like to normal, like if you see around, if you see any disabled person around you can uh, spare some time and ask the story, just that. And if he or she is confident about to tell the story, then you can assume he is healed. If they are not getting emotional and not asking for your support, not asking support from the any institution bodies, they are very confident the life they are living, that means they are healed. There's no special treatment they needed. So why to treat them special? Yeah.
Yeah, you truly said that we have to put ourselves in their shoes, and then we have to like ask for like what if they want to share or not. Yeah. So the communication should go, and that's why we are here talking about this. And I believe that we will build resilience towards this, and we will be empowering the society overall to foster the social justice and inclusion and for the acid attack survivors. I thank all the participants. I thank all the speakers, a speaker, Mr. Ajit Singh, for being here and talking about this topic under social justice and inclusion theme. I thank whole team of Connected Team Foundation and Changemaker Summit 2023. So thank you all. Thank you, sir.